Hi, I'm Greg.
And I'm Dion.
This is Camp TV. Reporter Ethan is going to sit down with the head of the Ann Arbor Canoe Liveries, Cheryl Somm. Watch and listen to what we learned about Ann Arbor's canoe liveries.
Hello everybody and welcome to Camp TV. My name is Ethan Ward, a student at Ann Arbor Open, and today we'll be interviewing Cheryl Somm, the head of Ann Arbor Canoe Liveries. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Okay, so we have some frequently asked questions for you here today. The first one is, what do the canoe liveries have to do with Ann Arbor?
Yep, so the canoe liveries are an important part of the city of Ann Arbor because it's our river parks and recreation right in town. It's really unique to have a free-flowing natural river right through a urban area in a big city like Ann Arbor, and people come from all around to come paddling in our river. So it's the great Michigan as well with all of our waterways. So the canoe liveries have been in Ann Arbor since the late 1800s, so it's really a tradition of Ann Arbor that has lasted all the way until today and will continue on. Back in the late 1800s, it was called the U of M Boathouse, and there were 160 boats, which is quite remarkable with a large number of boats, and people came down paddling the river before there were cars. Today we have almost 600 boats, and we're the largest livery in the state of Michigan with maybe 70, 80,000 people paddling each year. So it's a big, busy place providing really fun recreation and outdoor experiences and a way to get outside and be active and enjoy nature right here in the city.
Okay, thank you. Where can people canoe, kayak, or go tubing in Ann Arbor?
Yep, so we have this map right here. So it shows the two canoe liveries, which is Argo Canoe Livery and Gallup Canoe Livery. So the most common route is people start at the Argo livery and then paddle down to Gallup, and then we give you a van ride back. That takes about an hour and a half, and it's a 3.7-mile river trip. It also goes through the very fun Argo Cascades right there in the beginning of the trip. So the Cascades were built 4 years ago in a way to bypass Argo Dam. The whole embankment there needed repair, so we looked at that section of river. It was an old mill race that had been there since 1830 to power some mills down at the base of the Cascades. So we switched it up and took the stop at the end out and turned it into a set of drops and pools, and that has certainly grown our recreation possibilities, because then people can tube and raft, let alone it's way fun to go down the rapids in kayaks, and then you no longer have to get out of your boat and portage it, which was always a difficulty. So that's been a real fun addition to river recreation. We also do Barton to Gallup, which is a 2.5-hour trip. You park at Gallup and we drive you all the way up to the base of Barton Dam and you paddle all the way down. So that gives you a little bit longer time on the river. And then we have the Delhi to Argo, which is a 4-hour trip, which is kind of a long paddle, especially because of Barton Pond and Argo Pond. And then a lot of people, like half of our folks that come rent boats, just stay in the ponds. So you can do stand-up paddleboarding in Argo Pond, for example, or paddle boats in Gallup Pond. So you just leave and come back to the same dock, and you don't need to take a van ride. We also run a bunch of programs. In fact, some of you guys maybe have been in our river day camps. So we have a day camp both at Gallup and Argo that just explores different sections of river and different kinds of boats and fishing right off the dock. So lots of opportunities to come down to the river and enjoy it for people of all ages. We're open 7 days a week, 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. So just really try to make it available. No reservations, just come on down and rent a boat and jump in a boat and off you go.
So I've been hearing a talk about growth of paddle sports in Ann Arbor. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, we certainly have grown a lot, and including the whole state of Michigan and throughout the nation is paddle sports, which means anything with a paddle, like this, as a canoe paddle. So anything with a paddle, you can paddle canoes, kayaks, and you probably have noticed lots of kayaks on people's cars now. And so it really is popular. It's a great, inexpensive way to get exercise, to be outside, enjoy the beauty of the water and nature as well. So the canoe liveries have grown tremendously, really just doubled and doubled over the years. Back in 2000, we maybe had 50 boats, and now we have 600, so that just shows you the number of boats that we have, and we run out every weekend at this point because there's so many people on the river. We're pretty maxed out. It employs 90 people at the canoe liveries with all of our camps and programs, and all those people needed to work the docks and drive the vans, so it's a big operation.
Okay. What are some safety issues with paddle sports, and how can we avoid them?
Yeah, absolutely. There's it's anything with water, you need to make sure you're using the proper safety procedures. So here we have a life jacket. Yes. So life jackets are required by everybody who gets in a boat. So everybody puts on a life jacket. We make sure that they're fit according to their weight, because a life jacket's going to help you float. It's going to help if you tip over. And people don't realize, I think, that boats tip over all the time.
They think it's a Disney ride.
Yes, exactly. They just don't realize. It's really interesting at the front counter. They're like, really? My boat could tip? And you're like, absolutely, your boat can tip over. So you just have to be prepared for that. And also for cold water when you're paddling in the spring.
It's really cold.
It is, exactly. When you're paddling in the spring and fall and get wet, boy. But the life jacket will keep you warm as well. So it's perfect. It keeps you floating. It keeps a little bit of warmth around you. We recommend and require that everybody wears life jackets all the time. You never know when you're going to flip, and you could, even if the water's shallow, you could hit your head, or people panic in the water. So always wear your life jacket. The other safety and risk management that we do is we don't allow alcohol in the boat, so we really stop that as well. So alcohol and drugs do not mix with boating. And then thirdly is high water is a challenge in the spring. Many times you will hear that the canoe liveries are closed for the river trips in the spring, because the river, once you have a lot of snow melt or a rainy spring, the river can be a really big body of water. So know the conditions before you go out. If the canoe liveries are closed, that means that, gosh, the river is really high and could be dangerous. So really know where you're paddling, and always leave a float plan so people know where you're going if you have your own boat and what time you're expected to be back. And, just show precaution. Always look at the weather, wear your life jacket, and know your paddling skills and how far you can go.
Okay. And last question, why do you enjoy your job?
Yeah, oh gosh, it's a million reasons. So really to see the joy of people outside and providing that experience for families and children and adults, and just to be outside on the water, and they come back in so happy. It's just that being on a river is, I don't know if you said you did this in the fall, paddled in the river. It's just a really wonderful experience. It just calms you. It makes you appreciate life and nature, and just sets you away from your everyday work and challenges. So it's just a great escape to be outside and to see and to provide that. And really, Parks and Recreation, it's a perfect thing for our Parks and Recreation department to do, is we're just providing experiences for people to be outdoors, enjoy nature, active lifestyles, and then teaching those skills too, like seeing a child catch a fish for the first time in our day camp is just so much fun. So it's just a really fun, rewarding job to feel like that you are providing this experience and opportunity for people to go out and enjoy the river and enjoy nature and have fun with their families, and do something that's challenging too. The Cascades, I think you get you get your reward, or people are so proud of themselves that when they get through that and accomplish paddling down the river and feel like they've accomplished that. And it's a really fun job. I also enjoy working with all the staff, all the young people, and really teaching and teaching people how to, because many times it's their first job, so just of the responsibility of a job and the customer service expected and how to do a good job. So that's always fun as well. But basically it goes down to just the smiles on everyone's faces as they come back in from a wonderful river trip.
Yep. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's all the time we have for this segment. Thank you for joining us here today.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Great.
Yeah, thank you. Come out paddling again.
Yep.
Great story, Ethan. Next we have reporter Aaliyah interviewing Erica Pratt with Give 365. Take a look at what we've learned about Ann Arbor's volunteer program.
Good afternoon, folks. Today at Camp TV, I'm sitting in with Erica Pratt, the volunteer and outreach coordinator of Give 365, which is the best place to volunteer your time in Ann Arbor. So, Erica, what is Give 365?
Give 365 is a volunteer program that's based out of the Ann Arbor Parks and Recreation Department. So we coordinate volunteer opportunities within the park system in Ann Arbor. So everything we do is either in a city park or in one of the recreation facilities. And we are always looking for volunteers to help us with a variety of things. We do two big different type of activities. One is kind of park beautification and cleanups. And we also do programming and special event staffing for different events all across the city.
Do you have a specific location?
We have an office. We have a few office locations at Fuller Pool and at Vets. But for the most part, our program is kind of a mobile program because we're all over the city. We, depending on where the activity is, that's where you'll find us. So we do activities at the ice arenas, at the canoe liveries. Sometimes you'll find us in the summer at the pools, coordinating events.
So you guys are just scattered around?
We get around. We're everywhere.
Yeah. Vets is on a pool too?
Yep, Vets has the ice arena, and in the pool, in the summer, the swimming pool.
How do people get involved with Give?
Well, there's a few ways. You can call us on the telephone, and our number is 734-794-6445. Email's also great. You can shoot us an email at volunteer@a2gov.org. And otherwise, the website will link you up to us. But really, if you're interested, give us a call, shoot us an email, and we'll follow up with you and let you know what kind of opportunities are coming up. And we can add you to kind of a list where we send out a few emails kind of every quarter letting you know what opportunities are.
Do you guys have any brochures and stuff?
Yeah, we're in the Parks and Recreation Activity Guide, which comes out twice a year. So it's the same place you would find the camp information that the city has, as well as all the canoe information, ice skating, farmers markets also in there. So we have a section on the volunteer opportunities in the activity guide.
Yeah, I believe I've volunteered with you guys before. We cleaned up parks and stuff, and my mom shot you guys an email.
Yes, I recognized you, Aaliyah, from you're a junior volunteer, in fact, and that's one of our newer programs where we've looked for youth who want to get involved and kind of volunteer, give back to the community, and also kind of prepare for working opportunities and get an idea of what it's like to be at some of the rec facilities and what jobs are possible as you get older.
What type of volunteering opportunities do you guys have?
Well, right now in our winter season is probably our slowest, but we have some upcoming events where we are recruiting for volunteers to help at the ice arena events. We do an event called Burr Blitz and Vets Winter Wonderland, where we have some activities on the ice and in the lobby for kids that or anybody who's there that day skating. And then we have some splash days during the winter at Mac Pool, where we coordinate games in the pool with our volunteers.
That's my school.
Yeah, okay, yes. And really springtime is when you'll start to see us getting out into the parks. We do a lot of park cleanup days. We do, we clean the river once it gets springtime again. And throughout the summer, we also oversee the Adopt a Park program. So if you're, if you're a resident at home that wants to get involved in your local park, we can help get you hooked up with the Adopt a Park program.
So basically this organization is just helping the community?
Mm-hmm. And one of the questions I always like to ask volunteers who come to volunteer with us as we get started is I ask them how many parks do they think we have in the city of Ann Arbor. And do you know the answer? Do you remember?
I always answer a lot.
A lot, yeah, well, that's pretty good. There's actually 158, which is a huge amount of parks in the park system. So our program really helps to address some of the areas that just kind of could use a little extra attention, a little extra love, because with that many parks and, even though there's staff dedicated to cutting the grass and picking up trash, there's always needs for volunteers to help us either pick up trash in some of the busier parks or trim back some overgrown brush. And there's just so many ways that we partner with volunteers to help keep the parks beautiful and really, in something that everyone's proud of, because there's many parks here and I think everybody really enjoys getting out and experiencing the park. So our program is really dedicated to supporting the park system, and then the other part is the programming and the activities and the events, which just adds a little extra something to events that are happening at the facilities. And again, with volunteer staff, it becomes, that's what our program does, so that we don't have to pay for staff and we can offer things without having the cost of staff. We use volunteers, partner with them.
Do you love your job?
Actually, I do. I'm really fortunate. My background and my professional education is in recreation, parks and recreation. So I enjoy very much working in the field. That's really what people are doing in their leisure time. And I love Ann Arbor because it's such a unique park system with so many fun and different activities that are available. And to be able to be dedicated to volunteering, to connecting volunteers to meaningful, opportunities is really, I feel very fortunate. So
Yeah.
and every day is totally different. I never know what's going to happen. We've done a lot of odd projects, and so every day is kind of, a new adventure.
So you would say your job's not just your job, it's your hobby.
Yeah, I would say that. It's what I'm passionate about and what I care about. So I care about the experience that volunteers have when they're with us, and that it's fun and it's meaningful. And then I care very much that the work that we do is helpful to the city and is helpful to the health of the park system. And
What's your favorite part about your job?
my favorite part about my job, probably that I get to, I'm kind of social. I like people and I like coordinating things, and that's really what I do all the time, is talk to different people and try to build relationships and lead my staff and have fun. I like to have fun, and this job allows me to have fun. And we always like to think that we're spreading love into the community and and engaging the people, the residents, and those that care about the city, and so that they feel like they're like I said, doing something meaningful.
How long has this been going on for?
Give started in 2011. So for a long time, the Parks and Rec kind of department had, actually the city had a volunteer program in the natural areas. So natural area preservation had this model of where they were preserving natural areas, but really partnering with volunteers. And so based on that success, the departments realized there was a need to kind of, partner with the volunteers. And we're so fortunate, not only do we live in a town that has several pretty big universities and a lot of student orgs and groups that are looking for community service, but the residents are very volunteer minded and helpful and looking to be engaged. And so we have families and we have businesses and all the student orgs and youth and seniors, you know, everybody. So there's a lot of volunteers willing to help. So we're just really fortunate, and that built on that model, we're able to do things for the City Park and Rec Department with volunteers.
How long have you yourself been volunteering?
So volunteering or with Give?
First volunteering.
First volunteer. So I volunteered as a youth myself, and my first job was with Parks and Rec. So I've been, you know, a long time ago, I guess, and I volunteer as well in different areas. My kids at school and all of that stuff. So I know I always try to, you know, take my experiences from volunteering and incorporate that into preparing our volunteer experience. And then I've been with the Give 365 program in the city of Ann Arbor for just under 2 years.
What made them choose you to be the head?
Well, you'd have to ask them, but I think, you know, my background is in Parks and Recreation, and I have a master's degree in recreation. And
you're very skilled.
Yeah, people think, you know, having fun is, no, what do I always say? I always tell people having fun is serious business. So, but my background is in recreation, so I've worked for a few different cities before I came here, and I have always coordinated with volunteers and special events, and I've had different junior volunteer programs, and so I think you know that this is what they were looking for, so this is what they got.
You're a people person.
Yeah, I like people, and you know.
For our final question today is going to be, why volunteer?
Why volunteer? Well, you know, I think there's lots of reasons. You know, sometimes people are looking for a way to get to know their city better. Sometimes we get new people that don't know much about the city. They're looking to meet other people. There are plenty of volunteers that are looking to build their volunteer hours, whether it's for school or they're in a student org that requires some kind of volunteering. And then there's just a lot of people that want to do something. They might have a little extra time and want to give back, or they see you know, a need in a park and want to get involved and want to be part of the solution. So those are all good reasons. And I think because of our program and the things we do, we're really one of the, you know, more fun places to volunteer. You don't have to commit an hour every week. You know, you can, if you just want to do 2 hours on a Saturday or something like that, we'll find an event for you. We can customize outings if you have a group, and we also publish kind of set activities where we're recruiting for volunteers. But you know, I think all the viewers, you know, should write our number down and consider volunteering with us, and you know, see what it's about, because I know we enjoy.
It's amazing.
It is, right? I mean, why don't you tell us what your experience has been like?
Really fun.
Really fun. Would you volunteer again with us?
Totally.
Totally, yeah.
I think I've been volunteering with you guys for like maybe a year and a half.
Yeah. Yeah. See? There you have it.
Thank you, Erica, for spending your time with us. That's all the time we have for today. For the segment of Camp TV, this is Leah Maxwell signing out. See ya.
That's pretty good, Leah. I think you're like.
Dion here once more. Our reporter, Cooper, learned about the Ann Arbor Recycling Center. Let's listen to what Mackenzie Maxwell tells Cooper about the recycling center next.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Cooper Ford, and today I am with Mackenzie Maxwell. So, the environmental educator at MRF, where all your curbside recyclables go. Now, Mackenzie, I'm going to ask you a few questions, okay? first question is, what does MRF stand for?
MRF stands for Materials Recovery Facility. And so we recover certain types of recyclables there.
Okay. What happens at MRF?
So what happens is after you put all your recycling in a big bin like this at home if you live in Ann Arbor, a recycling truck will come and pick it up, and then it actually gets dropped off at the MRF. So there's this giant recycling mountain where everything kind of gets unsorted and dropped off. And then what we do at the MRF is we have machines and people that are helping to sort and separate everything out. So we make sure all of the same types of recyclables are together, like we have a giant bunker that has just milk jugs in it. And then we send it off to places in bales like this one so that it can be made into something new.
Okay. What types of materials do you accept at MRF?
So we accept any type of curbside recyclable. So that includes number 1 through 7 plastic, except number 3. We accept things like cardboard boxes. We accept homework and magazines. We accept metals like steel and aluminum cans, and then plastic water bottles and different things like that.
Okay. What role does MRF play in the whole recycling process?
So we're just kind of one step. We're the sorters of everything. And so you participate in the recycling process, hopefully, by putting things in your recycle bin at home. And then after, we sort and separate everything out to make sure that all of the milk jugs are together and the cardboard boxes are together and the paper is together. We send them off so that they're kind of like a resource. They're recycling building blocks to another place that might make new paper from old paper or new cans from old cans.
Okay. Where are other places I can recycle in Ann Arbor?
So other places you can recycle is the drop-off station, which is on Ellsworth Road. You can also take your recyclables. If they're not a curbside recyclable, you can take them to places like the drop-off station, or if there might be a place that could reuse them, like the reuse center. And then if it's things like computers or electronics, you can take them to places like Best Buy or Staples, or even Washtenaw County Home Toxic Center.
Okay. What are other ways that we can practice the 3 R's?
So other ways we can practice the 3 R's. The 3 R's again are reduce, reuse, recycle. Even though I love recycling, I definitely think that reducing and reusing is a little bit above that. And so ways to reduce our use of things is to just maybe buy less things if we don't need them, or maybe buy them used. And then in that case, with reusing, you can reuse things like coffee cups, or water bottles, or lunch bags, or containers. And now that we're around the holiday season, there's a lot of different ways that you can reuse old things to give them to someone else maybe. And then by recycling, like I'd mentioned, going to Best Buy or Staples if you had old electronics is a great way to recycle too.
What's the favorite part? What is your favorite part of your job?
My favorite part of the job is working with people. I get to work with people from preschoolers to senior citizens, and I get to teach them about recycling, and it's a lot of fun to be teaching people about things that they don't normally think about. So it's a really fun job.
Okay. And last question, why do you think it's important that we recycle?
It's a good question. That's normally something that I ask people when they come and visit me, but I can tell you since you're interviewing me this time. And so I think it's really important to recycle because it can help keep things out of a landfill, because we produce a lot of waste in Michigan, in the United States, and so by recycling we can help keep things out of a landfill because we only have one Earth, and it'd be nice for it to not be covered in landfills. And then something else is that it helps preserve natural resources. It helps us keep wonderful things like trees and metals and oil where they're supposed to be. And then and by recycling, we can reuse those things over and over again, so we don't have to take those natural resources.
Okay.
It's good.
Thank you, Mackenzie. That's all the time that we have for today. This is Cooper Forward signing out. It was nice to meet you.
It was nice meeting you too.
That's all the time we have on Camp TV. To view more programs like this, visit a2gov.org/CTN. Thanks for watching. I'm your anchor, Greg.
And I'm your anchor, Dion. Thanks for watching Camp TV.
Peace.
Peace.